Hello, welcome to this video guide explaining the Bloodlust Melee skill tree and equipment that's being used with this build. So it does use the legendary sickle class mod. This one specializes in melee damage, gives you some bonus melee on the item card. The 5 points there will also increase your melee damage further. So it's great for if you do want to deal massive damage to try and reap the benefits of Blood Explosion. When it comes to the shield that you're using, up until level 80, I was using roid shields, but when you start to overpower, you come across an issue where you deal too much damage that when you hit yourself, you'll take off more than half your hit points, and you probably lost the other half just trying to close in on an enemy. So I found with roid shields on overpowered levels, my guy was dying all the time. There came a point when I felt I needed more to increase this guy's toughness. So I equipped a Rough Rider, and I also equipped a Vitality Relic to make my hit points go through the roof. If you did want a little bit of extra damage, roid shields won't work in overpowered levels. You're better off swapping out the Vitality Relic for a Strength Relic. That'll give you a little bit of extra melee damage there. With your grenades, I'm still using the fastball on this one because if you can get a kill with melee, it'll greatly increase your grenade's damage. And if we can smack something with a fastball while it's slagged, you can bet that Blood Explosion is going to kill everything around it. So fastball is still a good option here. With my other weapons, I have an Incendiary Shotgun. The shotgun will get bonuses from Salt the Wound stacks, and the fire element on it will help to self-immolate yourself to get a little bit of bonus damage when you activate Release the Beast. Another option here is to use an explosive weapon, and with the with the rocket launcher, I find the World Burn, the Nukem, or the Butter Boom are good options. I would actually avoid using the Northfleet here. The idea of the rocket launcher is when you get knocked down into fight for your life, you can swap to a rocket launcher which will have massive magazine size because of how many Bloodlust stacks you have, and you'll just be able to just keep shooting it until you're standing up again. If you're using the Northfleet, you'll just spend way too many rockets way too quickly. So having something that uses your rocket ammunition a little bit more sparingly will help you in the long run to keep getting yourself up. And it's also useful to have a weapon that can slag. Now, I'm not actually very happy with this sniper rifle. I would be looking for about 70% slag chance on a good OP10 slag sniper rifle, but this one's, I suppose, kind of working for me for now. Now, with this skill tree selection, actually before I jump on that, I just want to show you the hit points. So down bottom left, you can see I've got almost 10 million hit points. If I was to swap out the Vitality Relic for a Strength Relic, you'll see that I've got 7,274,000. If I was to put the Vitality Relic back on and swap to a Roid Shield, you'll see my health will drop down to 3,441,000. And if I just went for straight up damage, I have a very measly 2,510,000. So just by having that Roid Shield on, so the Rough Rider and the Vitality Relic here,
go for the gory.
I've got, you can see right there, I've got that much more hit points. Now the other thing is with Release the Beast, right now you can see my health is at critical. So we want to see that health icon on the left shaking like crazy. You want to see that little caution icon on the right hand side of your health flashing. And you've also got the visual of how low the health is at. When you can see that cautionary icon, that's when you would activate Release the Beast. Now the thing is, if your health was to drop to, I want to say half capacity, let's see if that keeps it to where I want to be. Right now, I'm not at critical damage, I'm wounded. You can see the health icon is shaking a little bit. There's no caution icon on the right hand side. At this stage, I need to be very careful because if I take damage from an enemy, that is likely to knock me into fight for your life. You won't get this little grace period that prevents you from getting one hit in this game. It would say that you knew the risk when you were running into combat, you did nothing about it. So any further damage you would take from there would get you down. You can whack yourself in the face here just to get you to that cautionary icon. and then you can activate Release the Beast. So that's one way you can sort of manage this. So without going into that any further, let's go into the skill tree selection. What I would really like here is to put more points into fire rate so I could throw my buzz axes a little bit quicker. For this build, I've decided to sacrifice my throwing speed for buzz axes and just focus on just the melee damage. So the skills that give you some bonuses to melee damage are Empty the Rage, Salt the Wound. These stacks will accumulate when you take health damage for a maximum of 20 stacks. You get 7.5% melee damage per stack, so it does add up. We've got Silence the Voices here as well. This one's your core skill. You can see the class mod gives us 5 extra points to the skill. The self-attack chance does not increase as you put more points into the skill, but the melee damage does. So the more points you can put into the skill, the better, because you're not increasing your risk, you're only increasing the reward here. And we've got Release the Beast. It's really important that we are consistently activating Release the Beast, because it increases our melee damage and also our damage reduction, which will keep us alive for longer in fights. With the left, going down the Bloodlust skill tree, having blood-filled guns is really handy for, as I said, when you go into fight for your life, you can swap to a rocket launcher and pretty much all your rockets will be loaded into the clip. So you'll be able to shoot that thing for as long as you need to get yourself back up without reloading. Makes it a very reliable way to get yourself back onto your feet. Taste of Blood here will increase your damage reduction to keep you alive in fights for longer. There is a cap on how much damage reduction that you have though. So between this, Release the Beast, and your Rough Rider shield, you have overclocked how much damage reduction you can actually accrue. So we're overkilling it here. That's okay. With Fuel the Blood, if you can get a melee kill, this will increase your grenade damage. As I said before, we've got the fastball equipped. If we can get a melee kill, slag someone and hit them with a fastball, you can guarantee that's going to kill them and it's going to lead to a massive blood explosion that will kill everything around them. If we can kill an enemy with a grenade or an explosion, that'll increase our weapon damage. So this can be handy in boss fights where there's some weaker targets that we can kill to get this bonus, and then turn onto the boss to hit them with some weapon damage where it's unsafe to run in and melee them, because most bosses have some powerful knockback attacks if you get too close to them. Got Boiling Blood, so we can hold those Bloodlust stacks for longer. And then you've got Blood Explosion at the bottom here. So it talks about Overkill Damage. Overkill Damage is any damage that was excessive or wasn't needed when we kill an enemy. It takes that excessive damage, that overkill damage, and then it multiplies it depending on how many Bloodlust stacks we have, and applies that as a explosion of the element used to kill the enemy to everything in a small radius around that target. So if you were to hit something with a fire element, that explosion will be fire damage. If you hit them with a non-elemental weapon or an explosive weapon, it will kill everything around using explosive damage. Now on the right hand tree, there's a couple of skills that are good options. Numb Nerves we don't need, because as I said, we've already overclocked our damage reduction, so that's not going to do diddly squat at this stage. And we've got Elemental Elation. This will increase your fire rate, which means that you'll be able to throw your axes a bit quicker. But you also need to, if you're going to do this, you'll have to swap your grenades to, say, something like a chemical sprayer, so that you've got something on the battlefield that is applying those elemental status effects consistently to scale your Elemental Elation. This skill works better with the Mania Hellborn melee builds, which there's another one in the guide if you want to have a look at that. I do think the Mania and Hellborn melee psychos work a little bit better. They're just a bit more consistent. They can keep you alive for longer. Now with the skill, the class mod gives us 5 points to Pain is Power. Pain is Power will give us some flat increase to melee damage, and if we can self-ignite ourselves, that will double. So to try and get that double damage, we've got max points in Fire Fiend, so our melee attacks have a chance to ignite enemies and therefore have a chance to ignite ourselves. And to keep that ball rolling, we've got 3 points in Flame Flare, just so that that burn duration lasts longer, and there is a chance that anytime we've ignited an enemy, it can reignite them as well. They generally won't live long enough to reignite them though, so just be aware of that. So, what is there anything I've missed? Just some bonus health. Embrace the Pain is so we can throw our buzz axes quicker, and Strip the Flesh is so I can use the fastball to get those massive blood explosions. I did have an Incendiary fastball equipped, but honestly this build would work better with an explosive fastball. The Incendiary one was just to give me a chance to self-immolate, but you really can't rely on that. It's a very small chance your grenade will actually ignite an enemy. So that's the skill tree. Hopefully you're, happy with that. If not, make any change you want. There is a gameplay trailer that will sort of show you, what he's capable of on level 80 OP10 and give you some tips on how to play him. But hopefully this has covered the basics for you. Anyway, give it a run. Hope you enjoy it. I probably enjoyed this one more leveling than endgame, just as a heads up. He's a hell of a lot of fun to level. Anyway, have fun.